I want us to focus on and develop and do what Governor Brunson's done with pre-K right on through high school. I also want us to do, for those who are not inclined to go to college after high school, I want them to have the vocational, technical, educational opportunities they deserve. And for the others, I want them to have the college and university education, whether it's Chattanooga State, UTC, some of the 5 private institutions you have in this area, or other opportunities. But I want our children to get the education they need for the 21st century. Governor McCord used to say that schools plus roads equals jobs. It was true then, it's true now. But in the 21st century, ladies and gentlemen, there's another part to that. Instead of just schools plus roads equals jobs, in the 21st century, it's higher education, something beyond high school, plus information highways equals 21st century jobs. The keys for K through 12 now, and the 3 things we've got to focus on and develop, we've got to have 3 T's. We all learn about the 3 R's in school. It's the 3 T's. It's teachers, it's technology, and it's time. There's a shortage of math and science teachers, not just in this state, but in this country. We are importing math and science teachers from the Philippines and other countries to come into this country at a time when unemployment in this country is 10.2%. What's wrong with this picture? My sons had a geometry teacher who got sick, could not continue. They wound up with one substitute teacher Monday, Wednesday, Friday, a different one on Tuesday and Thursday. It's no way to learn geometry, ladies and gentlemen. I finally got up and I went and I saw the school superintendent, sitting number 2 guy out there, and I said, look, I'm not here as a legislator, I'm here as a daddy. You got to do something about this. He said, you find me a good math teacher, I'll hire him, her, or it. University of Tennessee at Martin, sister school to UTC, has 7,500 students. You know how many math teachers they graduated that December right before my boys took that class? 1. You know how many of them went in the classroom? None. The gentleman went back to being a police officer. Now that's what we're dealing with, and we've got to pay math teachers more, we've got to pay science teachers more, because it's a free market economy, thank goodness that it is, and we can do what we need to do. In terms of technology, John and Rick, my twins, wanted laptops when they were in middle school, ladies and gentlemen. As we told them if they could type 25 words a minute, they could get one. If they didn't, they couldn't. Well, they met a woman named Mavis Beacon. Some of y'all run into Mavis Beacon before. She's a software program. They learned to type 25 words a minute. We bought them laptops. You know how many days they took them to school, in middle school? How many days they took them to high school? Not 1. Because the desks are slanted for writing, not flat for computing. There's no way to plug them in, no place to plug them in, and they're not wired to use the internet there in most of that school building. And they were already thought a bit nerdy because they like to read books, and who wants to be the nerdiest kid in school? We've got to change the culture. If you let me go, ladies and gentlemen, every child, by the time they get to high school, will have a computer and know how to use it. We can do that. In the state of Maine, every middle school student, every high school student getting a computer and learning how to use it. In some of the schools in this state, in Lauderdale County, where unemployment's 19% in middle school, 6th, 7th, and 8th graders, they have computers that they use. We can do this, ladies and gentlemen. And finally, the third thing, the time. You know, how you got ahead was by working hard and by putting in the time. Meanwhile, one of my boys wanted to play basketball. He had to choose between giving up a 4th of his high school education if he wanted to play basketball. Tennessee's one of 2 states, I'm told, that allows you in block scheduling to take out a 4th of your academic day and the kids play sports. Now, it's just nuts. I love basketball as much as anybody. I majored in basketball and duck hunting in high school. I would have majored in girls, but I had glasses and braces and acne, and that didn't work out. But I majored in basketball now. And I love it, and my son loved it. But kids shouldn't have to choose between a sport they love and education they need. We can change that. And where charter schools are working, I'll tell you what makes a difference more than anything. It's kids spending more time doing more work and getting ahead in school. I had the opportunity a few years ago to go to Japan and to spend a couple of months, not at your expense, in Japan. And I studied their educational system. John and Rick, a little boy named Keo, John and Rick, my twins, graduated this spring. And the only difference in their education is that Keo had the equivalent of 4 more years than John and Rick did, because their summer vacations are so short, because they have Saturday classes, because they do cram school and do other things. Ladies and gentlemen, this nice gentleman is telling me it's time for me to stop, and I'm going to do what he says. Let me close with this. I really want to be your governor. I want to be your governor so we can have jobs and do everything I can. When I wake up in the morning, when I go to bed at night, I'll be thinking about how we can grow jobs and how we can educate our children. Now, some of y'all probably worried about all the spending. Let me tell you, my wife will tell you, I don't like to spend. I hate spending. Matter of fact, my pickup truck has 365,000 miles. We get a new one in my family every 22 years. Granddaddy got one in 54, Daddy in 76, 98 was my year. I've told my boys 2020 is their year. I hate spending, but I tell you what I do believe in. I believe in investing. I believe in investing in education, in our citizens. I believe in investing in our children. If you give me the opportunity, I will work to make sure that my children and your children and our grandchildren get the best educations they can so they can have the jobs they deserve. Thank you for the privilege of being with you.
Our final speaker of the night will be former House Majority Leader Kim McMillan.
Good evening. My name is Kim McMillan, and I want to be your governor. And you know, I learned a long time ago that if you're going to lead, you have to listen. Now let me say that again because that's so important. It's important to my campaign. If you want to lead, you have to listen. Public service is my passion. And as the only candidate in this race on either side, both the Democrat or the Republican side, who has actually served in both branches of state government, both the executive branch and the legislative branch, 12 years in the legislature and another year and a half in Governor Bredeson's cabinet, I have seen the impact that a responsive government that listens to people and then leads can have on the people of Tennessee. You know, when I served in the legislature, my colleagues knew my passion for a better Tennessee. They knew I worked hard to create a Tennessee that sends its children to the nation's finest schools, a Tennessee that hosts the cutting-edge companies, and a Tennessee that provides opportunities for all that are willing to work for it. Now, as the first female majority leader in the history of Tennessee, I was less interested in making history than I was in making a difference for the families of our state. You know, the fact is, when you're the first at just about anything, you have to work that much harder to prove yourself. Now, especially now, given the enormity of our challenges facing Tennessee, we're going to need a governor who is willing to do that work. Now, it isn't easy. It isn't glamorous. Trust me, it's not glamorous, I can tell you that. And the results aren't already immediately apparent. But when it's done right, that hard work makes a difference. That leadership makes a difference in people's lives. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I don't have to tell you this because you know this, but we are facing a set of economic challenges that families have not had to endure in this state since the Great Depression. Tennessee has one of the highest unemployment rates in 25 years. It's a staggering 10.5%. And I know you know that. On key education benchmarks, Tennessee schools are getting failing grades. I don't know about you, but that is unacceptable to me. Now, the SCORE report that you probably heard something about, that's the educational initiative that has been fostered and chaired by the former Senator Bill Frist, shows that workforce projections say that over the next 10 years, 63% of Tennesseans, let me repeat that again, 63% of Tennesseans are going to need a 2- or 4-year post-secondary degree in order to meet the needs of their employers. Now, did you know that today only 27% of our people in Tennessee have such degrees? I don't need to tell anybody in here about these challenges. We're all painfully aware of what the worldwide economic impact has had on Tennessee. And I don't just mean statistics. We've all heard statistics. I mean the very faces and the painful human cost that we've seen of our neighbors and our friends and even some of our family members.